Welcome to the introductory video on PowerSchool 24.5, the new interface that is coming in July with PowerSchool. It's mandatory for everyone across the whole United States, so it's not just North Dakota. What is going to change on the interface here is on the admin side. So your teachers will notice no difference at all in what they're doing, but the admin portal will be different. Students portal, same thing, okay? Just the admin portal. So as you can see when you look at 24.5, this new interface here, there's some differences. Along the left-hand side, we see tiles rather than a big long list of words or links and so on. Okay, so that can be kind of nice depending on how you look at change. Will be how you look at this page. Most people, I will say, that have worked with this for a while, they do find it easier, and there's some really nice functions in here that make life a little bit easier for a person. Okay, so we have tiles along the left-hand side where that's different. We also have a favorites button here that's really nice. I think is going to be useful for a lot of you, where you can create a favorite. It's a place that you might go to all the time, depending on what your role is in school, okay? Or when you're, the time of the year in school. If you're doing a lot of scheduling, you might create favorites for modifying student schedules, and it'll just take you right to that page. So that can really be handy. And then we see along the top here, there's one thing that I want to point out too. And this is where your favorites go. And they live right here in this favorites menu. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about how we create favorites and then how we get to our favorites. And that'll come a little bit later on. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look just at the first link with people. Now, when we select people, we see we have students, contact, or staff, and contact. Well, that's exactly what you have right here. Okay, so it's just another way of getting at that information. So we're going to select people, the students. What are we dealing with? Always ask yourself, what do you want? What are you doing? What information do you want? Well, if I'm going to work with students, now I have this menu pop up. Now I can search for GPA, let's say, perfect attendance, search for attachments. I can do all of that within here. I can also do it from that front page too, okay? That front splash page. Here we have assigning IDs and passwords. That might be something that a lot of you would do when you have new students. We have change student values. I can do that here, or I can do it from our group functions menu, which is right here, okay? So a lot of what we're seeing in here, we're going to see in this people menu also for students. Okay, and then we have student administration, student fees if you do that, and here student reports. Okay, so it's everything related to the student. Staff, the same thing. So if I select the staff tab, I can search for staff here, and then I have my staff management pages and fields, and then staff reports. How many reports you're going to run for staff is really up to you and what your role might be. But here's one, and I'm going to use this one as an example here: teacher schedules. Now, in the old, if you want to call it the classic view, along the left-hand side, it was located over here. And I found myself, when I'm doing support calls, working with schools, I end up going to that teacher schedule a lot, okay? And it was easy. I just clicked right over here. Well, now, if I want to go, I want to find out what a teacher schedule is, I go click, staff, teacher schedule. Now, if that's something I want to say, I want to make a favorite out of that because I do that a lot. I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to select right here, okay? I'm going to add a favorite, little plus sign. And I might say, I got a people category and I got a reports category that I've already created, but I want a staff category. So I add new category. I'm going to call that staff, and I'm going to add that category. So now it's checked, okay? That's what I'm going to add this field to right now, or teacher schedules to. So I can add that page, and now that page has been successfully added to my favorites. So now, if I'm back at my start page and it's 2 days later, later on that day even. And I want to go, I got to look at some teacher schedules here. I'm working with that. I'm going to come up here to my favorites menu, teacher schedules. Right there it is. That's really handy. Okay. Reports, whatever you do where you're thinking that I work with this a lot, you create your categories of report, staff, or whatever you want. Okay. You have complete freedom with this. And then you put them in the different groups. And now here's where you can manage those favorites. And then, you can go right here and you can say, well, I want to delete this one. I no longer really use that. Or you want to reorder it and so on. Okay. But this favorites is going to be huge for you. And I think it's really going to be a time saver. It's going to be a quick way for you to get someplace that you want to fast. Okay. Something that you do all the time. Now, another nice addition to PowerSchool, and let's talk about this one right away, because this is your friend, this is your buddy right here. And whoops, it's loading here. And it's the search menu, okay? It's your friend. It's going to go with you on this journey through 24.5, this new interface, and just be a big help to you. So let's just do a couple examples on how this search menu can be helpful to you. What I want to do is I want to just, whoops, I'm down in the wrong box here. I want to get in this text box, search box, and let's just type in the last name of Weinman, and I enter that. So now this searched all of PowerSchool on your site, and it comes up with 2 students' names. I have 3 staff in the building that have a last name of Weinman, and here's all my contacts of Weinman. Okay, now that's really nice. So if you have that parent that comes in, Amy comes in and says, hey, I want to let you know my phone number's changed, you go right up here, just type in her last name, it pops up, you select her, and change your information. It doesn't get much easier than that. That's just really nice. Now, let's do another example. Let's say that this new interface and you need to modify a student's schedule, and you're going, well, you're asking yourself, well, where in the world is that? How am I going to find? Oh, this is frustrating. Again, your friend's right up here. You're going to go up here and you're just going to enter. Let's see, it was called, and I don't want to use modify. I'll just use schedule. I'm probably going to get a lot of things show up, and I do. But what do I want to do with this student? There, that's what I want to do. I want to modify the course schedule. Okay, so I'm going to do a student search. Then I'm going to select courses and programs, and then course schedule. Okay, so that's easy enough. I'm going to go here. I'm just going to grab a student, right? I select my student. Now I see along the left-hand side, here's that courses and programs. And I wanted to modify his course schedule. So you can see right there where that search bar up here is going to be a handy tool for you to use moving forward. And I'll tell you, there's no shame in it. The PowerSchool specialist, the team, we're using this all the time too. In like, well, okay, we all know where it was over here in the old version. Where did they put it in the new one? Okay. And when is this stuff going to happen? It's when you got a million people there and you want the information quick. So work through this stuff when you have time. Start, introducing yourself to it so that when it comes fall of the year and you have all those students and parents in for registration, you have a good handle on this. Or maybe you've created all your favorites here of, hey, these are the 10 5 places, maybe, who knows, that I go to commonly that I'm going to need on registration day. I got them right here, man. I'm not going over here wondering where stuff's at. I've got it right here in my favorites. I'm going to move. I'm going to look like a pro that day. Okay. So use this search menu. That's just really nice. Favorites menu, kind of beating this stuff to death here a little bit. Okay. So that's our people tile. Students, staff, contacts. I'm working with people. Okay. Now, remember, I'm on the school level, right? So things some of these options are going to change if I go to the district office, right? Just like they do when in our classic view, they're going to be a little bit different. But I'm at the school level here, and now I'm going to come to attendance. I select attendance, and I see some of my options are here. Now, what you work with, each day, maybe you don't even go to this. I know when I was a high school principal, I didn't come in here a whole lot. It might be once a year or stuff that I did, but it varies. It's when you're making changes. Certain times of the year, you're in there more often. Refresh Premier Attendance Views data. That's a real handy link when you're working with that ADA ADM. If you've taken one of our courses there, you know that this is something you need to do. And if you're looking at your ADA ADM and you're going, it doesn't look right, you come over here and do that attendance. And it's easy to find now because what is it related to? It's related to attendance. So you select this tab and it opens right up for you. Okay. That's real nice. Anything related to student health is going to be in here. School enrollment. This is one that I really found nice and handy in that student comes into school. What do you need to do? You need to enroll the student. So right there it is. Anything related to enrollment in the building is right here. That's real handy. Set that next year indicator. I did find that interesting that was here. It does make sense to some degree, but that's something you'll be doing here as we prepare for end of year in May. In June, you're going to use these two fields down here. That's set next school indicator and set summer school, or not set the summer school indicator, but some of you might use that. Our larger school districts may use that. Then we have next school indicator. That's what I was looking for. Okay. So school enrollment's real handy. Courses and programs. Now, these are some nice functions here. Our master course schedule we can look at. That might be something that is common. Mass register students. Some of you are going to do this. If you're waiting until July and August to enroll students in classes, you might be using that right here. Okay, mass assigned programs. When I seen this, I thought, I got to have a group of people that are going to really like this. I just finished up working with our EL program coordinators in the state on how they can use PowerSchool more efficiently. This is really going to make things nice for them because they now can mass assign. I'll just grab a group of students here, and they could mass assign those students to, a 504 program. And so could you. You could grab your 10, 15 kids or how many you have and go, these are all my students in a 504 program. These are all the students in EL. Okay, ELL, and entry dates, exit dates, and so on. That's really going to be handy. And that's under courses and programs. Okay, so then we look, the one thing that I did find interesting is when you work with courses, you're not going to find that here under courses and programs. I immediately went there thinking it's there, and it wasn't. And I understand why. After I thought about it, okay, it's down here under school management. You're going to manage the courses in your school. Okay, so let's look at our next tile, data and reporting. And this makes so much sense. Okay, data and reporting. What are you going to do? Data management. Okay, if you're working with some student staff photos, that's data, right? And we have some other things here. Okay, then we have exports. If you're going to export data, you're going to go to data, exports. Here's our different options. Okay, there's that quick student export that a lot of you will use. Okay, then we have templates and so on. But it really makes sense, doesn't it? It's data and we're exporting it. Now we have some form reports that maybe some of you might be using. Imports, here's where we're going to import some data. We don't do a lot of that, but some people do, okay? And you really want to know what you're doing if you're importing data in, okay? Then we have our reports. Now, what I really like about this too, and this is where you need to get a handle on this, is in the past, we used to say, go to the North Dakota State reporting page, okay? That is now called compliance. If you think of anything that's going to be reported to the state, that's a compliance report, all right? So when I select this compliance report, and I give that a moment to load, right there they are. There's those reports that our compliance reports that we, send once a year to the state. Okay. Now take a look at some other things. Here's our engine report. I didn't click on a lot of these tabs, but I know some of you work in these, so I want to show you where they're at and located so you don't have to hunt. But really, it makes sense. Data and reporting. Here's the reporting part, and you can see out of all the menus, there was a lot of reports in different menus too that were related maybe specifically to attendance, but here they are. Here's those PSCB reports that everybody loves, right? They're located right here in reporting, reports, and PSCB reports. Okay. State-specific reports. That's going to be a link there that isn't really available because what have we done? We've put them under compliance, right? That really makes sense, and you're going to find that reporting there. So now system reports, and this is one where it could look just a little bit different, okay? But for the most part, it's all pretty much the same. That's where you're going to find. Yeah, I know a lot of you will be running this ADA, ADM. That's one, enrollment by grades. There's just, everybody has their favorite reports that they like to run, and you're going to find those under system reports, just like you always have. It's just, how do I get to system reports, right? Okay, so now school management. And this is where I spoke a little bit about courses, okay? Because this is where you're going to find that. It's under the school like it typically was before. Remember, under setup, select school, and then go to where you want the fields. Well, now they've broken them down into the management categories. Anything that's related to academics is here. Okay, class rank, grades, honor roll. We're going to find that there. Assets, I don't think a lot of you are using that right now. Attendance. Okay, and again, this is a lot of management type stuff here also. Courses and programs. Now, so that makes sense, right? We're going to manage our school, the courses in our school. I select courses. There they are, courses. What's different here is we used to have a section called sections, right? Or a link, I should call it that. A link called sections. Well, now it's called course sections. Okay, so it's a little bit different there. All right. Then we got our display preferences, where we can set our quick lookup display, and that's a little bit different for when we store grades. You're going to come to that. But again, I'm going to manage my school. I want to manage the display. There it is. Okay. Email list preferences, if you're using something like that. Then we have fees if you're using fees. Post-secondary plans would be where if you're using graduation planning, you're going to find links there. Okay. There's our graduation plans. Report card setup, if you have some kind of setup there. In this case, it was the PSCB report card, if some of you are using that. Scheduling. Okay, there you go. So we're looking at our calendar. We're not thinking of scheduling the student necessarily, but we're doing some management of the schedule itself for next year. And right now, as I'm recording this at the end of January, this is a perfect time to start thinking about what's going to be different next year. What does our school year look like? What are we going to do for years and terms? What is our bell schedule going to be? This is the time you want to start talking about those things. If you're saying, now we keep it the same, you're good. If you're thinking about making changes, now is when you want to talk about that, see what you need to do, put a ticket into PowerSchool, talk to one of the specialists about, hey, this is what we're thinking. We're thinking about going from a 7-period day to an 8-period day. What do we need to do to make that happen next year? And we can walk you through that. Much easier to do now than the week before school starts. That's not the time, okay? So think about those things. Got kind of off task there. Okay, let's get back here. School parameters. Okay, this is where you're going to set up the rooms, departments, and so on, if you do anything like that. Teacher applications. This is where you're going to go in and maybe make some changes to the grade books and how maybe you push out the grade formulas, hey, for how the grade's calculated for the semester or something. Maybe you push that out to all of teachers and they can't change it. I don't know. Each school does it a little bit differently. Here's where you're going to lock those terms. Okay, so anything that belongs to the school and it's a teacher application, which Power Teacher Pro is, you're going to go right there and do that. That makes sense. And then we have user access. Okay, you're going to configure that parent-student access. All right. Now, system management would be a lot of those things that we found under the system menu in PowerSchool. And some of you probably didn't go to that a lot. Okay. So there's some customizations there. I'm not real big on people customizing stuff. I think that when you do that, it can create some problems sometimes. So you always want to check with us when you think you're going to customize something. Then we have data here again. We're looking at, this is where that AutoCom records and auto send is, where we're going to, some of you are doing like say Swift K-12. And a lot of times when you do those where we're sending information out, it's going to be in here. Okay. Forms, if you're using that application, this is a custom application. Enrollment Express, of course, is an add-on also. There's the forms again. Localization, don't really do much with that. Here's our reports again. So now we're seeing system and reports, and this is where you're going to do the editing and creating. You're not going to necessarily print out of here. You're going to edit reports out of here if you're doing something along that line. Okay. Then security settings across the school. This is where you're going to manage those things. And a lot of people have them set and they never go in here. Okay. And then here's where you can find information on your server, which you would never really do something at the school level with this. This would be something more that the PowerSchool specialists would work in right here. Okay. So system menu. Now applications. Applications is where right now some schools that have already went to the new interface, they're working in Power Scheduler. Once they select this link, Power Scheduler opens up and it looks exactly like it did in the classic view. And that's really the nice things about it. Other than these tiles, once you open up the view, you're in very good, with the instructions that you have. Okay. Then Power Lunch. And that'd be a good example. I'll just select Power Lunch. We're going to go into Power Lunch here at this school. And you see that menu is the same. Okay. So you'll find that. And now, just a couple of comments when finishing up here. The PowerSchool staff has been working in the last month or so. We've updated nearly all of our documents to 24.5. So you're going to want to either attend a training session or you're going to say, you're going to get into, I'll use the enrollment and transfer scenarios doc, for example. That one has been updated to the new 24.5. And it's really the first line or two that's only different on how to get to this, different places on the enrollment. And we find that, right here, the menu was used a lot. So the document really hasn't changed a whole lot. Roxanne and I worked on a new format for anything that's 24.5 and above. So you're going to know if you have an old document or not. The new format looks just a little bit different. I'm going to bring up that document real quick so you guys can take a look at that. I should have had that up on the screen or loaded earlier, but never. So that's the way it works. Grab this here. There we go. So don't worry about, oh man, all my documents are out of date. Attend a new session or, request a 24.5 doc, email one of the staff and we'll get that to you. So anything that's 24.5 or above is going to look like this right here. It's going to have a different color, a different design on front compared to what our old documents did. You're going to know if it's old or new. And, we have our copyright date up here, or if you want to call it the last update, you're not necessarily a copyright date, but the date that was updated. So this one on 1/4, this was switched over to 24.5, and all the instructions relate to how to get the information in 24.5. I think you'll find that real handy. Okay. So this was just a quick little video to kind of introduce 24.5 and the new interface to you. It's really going to take you getting in there, working with it, just like you did with the older version of PowerSchool, the classic view, if you want to call it that. It just takes some time, and it takes time for the PowerSchool specialists too. We're working with this on and off throughout the year, trying to get a handle on it. And once we get into it, I really believe by next year, by the end of September, it'll be old hat for many of us. I've got it down. July, when we do the update, that's when everybody will go over to the new version. Okay. So look forward to that. And also remember right up here, this search menu. That's your friend, that's your buddy. You're gonna work with the search menu a lot. And it's going to be very helpful, and it'll remove the stress. Remember the favorites menu. That's great. Now, remember also anything that's available at the school level might not be at the district level, and vice versa. Okay. So your favorites, you might have a favorite that you created at the high school level, and you're thinking, I want to get there at the district office. It might not be available. It might be grayed out. Okay. So just remember that, and I think you know that even with working in the older versions, there's things that are different at the district office versus the high school. Okay. So with that, I wish you the best. Again, search menu and enjoy the new experience. I think you're going to like it. We'll find out when we get some feedback from you people at PSUG next year. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Bye.